Today we have a very interesting case from an Asus ZenBook. It's an Intel Optane memory H2 chip where we're not 100% sure what happened to the solid state drive. But let's have a look together and see what's going on. Apparently the C partition was encrypted with BitLocker, and let's dig in and see what we can do about it and then go from there. So first of all, what we've done is we used DDI4 to make a forensic image of the solid state drive. We just cloned it for testing to a 1 terabyte drive, and I'm very interested in those two partitions. There is one OS and then there is one called BitLocker. So first of all, if we go in, I want to actually know what's on that drive and have a quick preview in regards to the data. And let's open up an hex editor. So yeah, here we can see at some stage it was formatted. But then also we noticed by just scrolling to the C drive, or 250 gigs in size, and we just scroll through it, that every single data block, pretty much, there's a little bit showing up here, has been formatted. And if you format it on a solid state drive, there's a very high chance that actually Trim did it. I think I'm in the wrong window here. There should be data on here. What's going on? I was very convinced by looking at it a half an hour ago, it should have that much data on it. But that could indicate, let's have a look if there's any zeros in here or anything, like any, just go through it, see anything in here, but it looks like a highly encrypted data. Interesting. Okay, fair enough. Let's try again. That's the file system, and then exactly. I'm not sure what happened here before, but anyway, this is how I would expect that I found it in the first investigation, that pretty much on the C partition everything is empty. There's nothing here. At all. Okay. So interestingly, we're not really worried about C. Apparently there's user data on the D partition, which is the BitLocker one. We were provided with a BitLocker recovery key and an ID which doesn't match the one we're having here. So if we go in here and have a look at the data itself, yep, that's our good old friend BitLocker. Here we can see encrypted data, and we're about like maybe 2% in the drive. You see there's a little bit data here, and after that, after about I would say 10%, so about around 20 gigs of encrypted data are on the D partition. But whenever we check, we normally use RStudio, UFS, and Reclaim Pro for that type of work, is if we go to the BitLocker partition itself and we open up the storage, we get an ID here which doesn't match with the ID provided by the customer on their Microsoft account. So my assumption is, or what we try to figure out is, at the moment, how can we decrypt that? I've seen before that the TPM chip is able to encrypt partitions without ever asking the customer for a password. It just turns it on. I've seen that oddly happen in Windows 11. It happens a lot when you doing the setup, you bypass the Microsoft account option when you put in no@thankyou.com and bypass the Microsoft account. It automatically seems to turn on full BitLocker encryption. So here The only thing is because the customer doesn't have an idea what even that recovery key is, and there's only one on the account which doesn't correlate to this recovery ID, that my plan is now we're gonna clone it over to a completely identical drive which just arrived today. We will then put the drive in there, reinstall the operating system, because right now there seems to be nothing on here, and even if we go in there, it seems if we go here in the OS and just give it a second, there's system volume information. So something happened on the 16th of December. I would say probably a format or something like that. And I might have been BitLocker on before and just wiped it out, but neither RStudio nor UFS Explorer could find any hint of BitLocker. Who knows? So the plan is for today, we already cloned it over to an identical same size drive. We will put it back into the Asus ZenBook, and then we will reinstall Windows 11 on the C drive, and then hopefully, if the data recovery gods are with us on this one, it might actually unlock with the user provided password, and we don't need the full 48-bit recovery key on here. And yeah, I keep you posted and see what it is. It's an unusual one. I didn't even know that BitLocker can have two different partitions with two different IDs itself, but interesting to see. And yeah, that's what we're trying now. The Windows 11 installer is ready, fresh from the Microsoft website. And yeah, we pop it in, install on C, and then I will take a video most likely, see what happens to D, if it's asking for the full key or just a password or just unlocks it. I've seen that on Dell XPS sometimes and some HP business laptops, that the TPM takes full control over the encryption without ever setting even a password in Windows 10 and 11. So interesting case. I'm not sure if everybody ever came around it like that, but I thought it's worth at least making a short video, especially for the customer, so they can understand as well what's going on here and why this is not possible. All right.